What's up guys, welcome to part 2 of flipping a $1,500 shitbox. In the first episode we bought this 2003 Honda Civic with an overheating issue. We drove it home, did a little bit of digging into the overheating issue, and then freshened the car up with a well-needed wash. We also had a new front headlight bulbs, we did a headlight restoration, replaced the brake light bulb, and mounted a front license plate bracket. Now I'll tell you, this is where the flip gets interesting, so stay tuned and subscribe to watch me flip this shitbox. Now this car did need new windshield wiper blades, so I made sure to install those first. The next thing I did was move the car into my garage to work on the engine. I made sure to jack up all four sides of the car so I could get underneath the car if need be. Now, if you guys remember in the first video, I did try to diagnose the overheating issue. Unfortunately though, even though it did look like I found the issue, I just kind of narrowed it down to still being a leaky head gasket. So, in this video, we're going to replace that. First things first, it's time to drain the coolant. We got the coolant draining. Hat is soaked in coolant, but that's okay. First time for everything. Spilled everywhere, but you know, you're obviously doing it right if you spill some, you know? So it looks alright. Next, it was time to disconnect the battery because we're going to be unplugging sensors, so we don't want to mess anything up. Next, I took off the engine cover to access all the spark plugs and ignition coils and kind of just be able to take the top off the engine. And after 30 minutes of prying with my hands, we finally get somewhere. I honestly can't tell you why I'm standing on top of the car right now, but I guess it was just to get to a bolt. You gotta do some things, you know, when you don't have a lift at home. Just trust the process. Everything, I got two pieces off. Air intakes, throttle body cables. I'm trying to get this harness off, but I can't because this stupid fucking... These wires down here, this shit won't come off. Right there. I don't know how to fucking get it off. It's been such a bitch. Fuck. This is what I didn't want to happen. One stubborn thing. I can't get this fucking shit. Like, actually, maybe I could... No, I can't do it with this on. No, because I'd have to... Well, actually, maybe I'd... Fuck. Fucking damn it. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna try it just like this. We'll see what happens. We got the valve cover off. Got one coolant hose off. Need to get the EGR valve off, as well as this coolant hose here, and the lower one. But I'm hoping I can still get off the throttle body without taking that off, because I can't take that off. I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard. But we're making work. We're making progress. Now, as you can see here, I am struggling, but basically I'm trying to get the exhaust manifold heat shield off so that I can gain access to the headers and then take those off to lift the top part of the engine out. Next, I believe I'm taking the EGR valve off, or actually, to save you guys time, I actually tried to take it off, couldn't, and then realized that I could just work smarter, not harder, and just kind of disconnected it just so I can move it out of the way so I can lift up the top of the engine there. Also, I cannot tell you how helpful it was to have a magnetic rechargeable LED light so I can kind of see what I'm working with, because even though I am in a garage and you can see everything's kind of lit up, it's still hard to see some bolts that are underneath some things that are casting shadows, so my flashlight really came in handy. Now you can see I'm really fighting with the EGR plate. It's really not coming off. My dumbass should have... Oh, and there I dropped something too. My dumbass really should have just disconnected the hoses, but again, you know, this is someone who's not even level 1 apprentice, so I'm really just... You guys gotta bear with me here, okay? You guys can see I was able to get the exhaust manifold kind of off there, and then in this clip too as well. It was just really hard to pry it off because my dumbass didn't disconnect, or I tried to disconnect the exhaust pipes, but they were totally rusted out, so this was my only option. Now in this clip, as you guys can see, I'm starting to remove the power steering mount so that I can take the timing belt off, as well as get underneath the engine mount bracket. And as you can see, we got the power steering pump bracket off. We got the exhaust manifold off, timing cover off, trying to get the belt off. Now we just have the intake manifold we got to get off, and then the EGR is already off, and then we're so close. We're so close. I have to apologize, guys. I low-key forgot to film, but we got the timing cover off as well as the crankshaft pulley off, which is infamous, like really, really hard to take out. And I needed to grab a holder tool just to get it off, and even that didn't work, so I had to call in my mechanic friend. And when he came, he was able to help me get the crankshaft pulley off and take the top of the engine block off to put the new head gasket in, and I'll show you guys a picture of that. Alright, so I forgot to film, but we got the alternator bracket on, timing belt back on, crankshaft crankshaft crank on, alternator on, alternator belt on, and then the AC compressor that's causing AC issues, we got that on, as well as the belt that goes to it. So now it's running. Before it was just running between this and then the alternator, but now it's running to all three. We got the bolt on with the keyway, tensioner back on, and as I mentioned, timing belt. We're pretty close now. This is being a little stubborn, the exhaust bracket or the exhaust manifold, but that's okay. Then we got this to put back together, and then the valve cover, and then we'll be good. And because I already had the valve cover off, it was a good idea to replace the valve cover gasket, because that can sometimes leak oil because it is rubber, so it does degrade over time. So here's me putting that on right now. Got the new head gasket in, engine mount on, alternator belt on, as well as going to the AC compressor now. Alternator on, valve cover kinda on, not really. Timing belt is on. We're making progress, hopefully by Friday. Now, I know in the video it looks really easy, but I want you guys to know that that whole process, just from the previous clips, was, I want to say, about 2.5 weeks worth of work, maybe even more, because at the time I was also working a full-time job to afford insurance and also to afford buying all those parts. So unless you have somewhat of a kind of mechanical knowledge, which I had, as well as like people to contact and like help you out with certain things, because they might be a licensed mechanic, you know, you gotta really pick your battles and pick, you know, what kind of work you can handle and what you can't handle. Anyways, let's skip forward to the first startup. Okay, so we've been working on the car. Everything is put back together, as you can see. Holy shit, I think that was like a 5-hour job. Got home at, I think it was 6 or 7. Got home at 7, worked all the way until now. It's currently 11:40 at night. We're gonna start this up for the first time. Missing an exhaust bolt, so this is definitely going to be loud, but hopefully, if I plugged everything right, it should be good. Shit. There we go. Gotta check engine light. Fuck. That is not good, but it is running, so that's good, I guess. Fuck, I do not want to check engine light. We'll read that on our code scanner though. After that clip, I made sure to scan the codes and check to see why the engine light was on, but as you'll see in the next clip, the car started to die on me. That is even worse. Fuck. Now it's dying. Okay, battery issue. So most likely, that means the alternator is not charging the battery, and I think I know why, because the tensioner is not tensioned enough. And no, it was not the, excuse my dumbass, it was not the alternator. It was nothing to do with the belt. It was actually the camshaft position sensor. My dumbass forgot to plug it in. Okay, so we have a camshaft position sensor. And then I checked it, and then my dumbass didn't fucking plug it in, so I think that's why the engine light was on. I don't think there's any other codes. So we're gonna erase the codes. Now after that clip, I went to bed because it was 12 a.m. at night and I was super exhausted from working on the car. The next day I took it for a test drive, and during that test drive, something really, really bad happened. So we were driving, I didn't floor it here, but we blew it right there. And coolant just fucking, holy shit, all over to over there. God fucking damn it. Now I thought it was fixed because we had a misfire, because I took it around the block to test drive it. Engine light came on, misfire. And then I thought I fixed the issue, drove around again now, and no engine light came on. And I was driving it for like 5 minutes, not even. And the coolant hose blew off. But we weren't overheating though, so I'm kind of confused what's going on here. So guys, that's going to be a wrap for this video. I'll show you guys in the next video what we did to fix all the issues, and we'll have the car ready to sell by the end of next video. But for this video, I think I've covered everything that kind of happened. This was all within like a month or so, and it was hard because I was also working a full-time job at the time. I was really just working evenings and weekends to try to get this car fixed. So make sure you guys subscribe to watch my journey and the new projects that come to this channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next one.